morning, December 2nd, the Pull Factor Podcast, Episode 5, The Art of Negotiation. My name is Amelia Waters. I'm with Dual Strength Strategies, all your web development and social media needs. We do the heavy lifting when it comes to your digital marketing.
I love that.
Thank you.
I am Andrea Seeger-Doring, a founder of The Marketing Drill and Team Up to 10X. And yeah.
It's that kind of morning.
It is that kind of morning. But I will say, while I'm not with the program as much as I'd like to be, I'm really excited about our topic today, the art of negotiation. I think it's really important for women to really focus on being the top of their game with their negotiation skills.
Yeah, I think, it starts with, how do you value yourself? If you feel like you are a high value businesswoman, entrepreneur, you are confident in your services, top negotiations, whether around a job, if you're an entrepreneur, around with a client and money, it makes a huge difference. It starts with mindset. I have found it starts with mindset. When I first started, my prices were lower because I was new, but I've also gotten more confident in what I bring to the table. And I've learned, and this is what my manager at the gym, as everyone, I don't know if everyone knows, I also work as a personal trainer, and my manager at the gym taught me a lot around when you meet with a new client, selling them on training, get to their emotional piece.
Yes.
But you take the emotion out of talking about money.
Mm.
Get to their emotion, get out of your emotion, get into theirs.
Yeah. Yeah, that is such a great point. And I love that journey of yours. That's really cool. And, I think when we're all starting out in some way or another, we're not quite sure how to put a dollar value on what we do. And confidence is a huge part of that. And I know, like, my business coach, definitely, that was like one of the first things that he worked on with me. Because at that point, I had more than earned what I should have been asking for. When I was starting out, I do feel like I was still underselling, but there's a difference between starting out with fair pricing because you haven't done it before and selling yourself short.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not doing your clients or anyone any favors if you can't put food on the table at the end of the day.
Yeah. And I think, it's when you come in confidently, they're like, oh, okay. But when you come in meek, like, oh yeah, I do this. Yeah, no. Or the overeager. Yeah. You want to sign on? You want to sign on? And I find with business, a lot of those strategies apply to dating. You don't want either one. You don't want someone with really low confidence, and you don't want someone to really be eager to date you either. Like, wow, you're gorgeous. Yeah, I love you. And it's like, ooh, on that first or second date, you're like, red flag. The same goes with business and jobs. I find that the two behaviors are so much alike that the only thing is, as a woman, professionally, I want to be respected, and romantically, I want to be cherished. So that there's those two energies. And as female entrepreneurs, we balance both. We have to balance both.
Yeah, absolutely. And have you found that when you were selling your services for less, you were attracting a different type of client that valued you less?
We'd be here for an hour or more.
I know, it's
yeah.
I had to touch on it because you
Yep.
don't understand those patterns until you take a look back, right? And the clients that I had when I was selling my services for $37 an hour would never be buying my services at this price. And that's okay. Right?
Oh gosh.
That is okay.
I did you remember my issues with my first BNI group. I sold myself short. They sold me short. I did a 2 or 3 page e-commerce Wix site for $750.
Mm,
And he gave me 3 payments of $250.
wow.
And to me at the time, I was like, great, but oh my God. And, this was the same person who recruited me for that BNI and then turned on me. We won't go there. But, another someone and another client there doing 1 post a week for him for $100 a month. And then after 6, we were only supposed to do it for 3 months. And then he renewed it after 3 months. And I was like, okay, I needed the business. After 6 months and him giving me an attitude, I'm like, I can do this for 200 a month, or I can post twice a month for 100. I can no longer it's not paying the bills.
Yeah.
And he acted like I was asking too much. Like, how can you double the price? I'm like, I know I'm doubling, but this is still more than reasonable. People
Mhm.
like that, it's the cheapskates. And I've learned, that you want those high paying, you want people who value what you do. Those
Yes.
people who don't value what you do, they're
Yeah,
not worth it.
absolutely. And back in those days, like the problems that I had with clients was they wouldn't listen to what I was telling them.
Mhm. Yep.
They never took me seriously, and they were always nickel and diming every single thing. It was never like just, okay, yeah, I'm getting more than what I'm paying for. It was always like, well, what about this? And what about this? And I had a client actually ask me if he was paying me to change diapers because I had a baby. Yeah. Thought I was changing diapers on the clock. I, never again.
Yep.
And we need to have these experiences sometimes in order to learn. But if you don't have to, and you can learn from our experiences, that would be even better. So just make sure that you're pricing yourself fairly. And when you go into a negotiation, understand those risks. That's why, I wanted to get into all of that, because that's what happens when you aren't a strong negotiator and when you do undersell yourself. Understand what it is that you need in order to keep the lights on, and don't budge on that.
Yep.
If there
Stand
is a
your ground.
problem, yes, if there's a problem, then let's take a look at your sales process,
Mm-hmm.
right? There
Yep.
could be a problem with the sales process, not necessarily your value. Or maybe there's something you can do to add value that isn't going to take you a bunch of time,
Mm-hmm.
right? So very good. Awesome.
And I think part of that negotiation and that you taught me, Andrea, is never drop a number or a price first thing. Because you're like, well, what are your prices? What are your prices? Well, let's slow down, take control of the conversation, slow it down. What do you need? Who are you? What do you value? What do you want? Okay, let me process this, type up a proposal, and I'll walk you through that proposal. Because sometimes when it comes, I know a new website can be at least $5,000. That can be a
Mhm.
sticker shock to some people. My social media services usually start at 500 a month. Now, to some people that's a sticker shock as well. Well, why am I paying you $500 to post? You're paying me for a lot more, and I'm going to walk you through it.
Yeah.
So you're paying for not the content, the expertise. I've been doing this for 20 years. The effort is great, but when you have the expertise, that's what people are paying for.
Yeah.
Another piece of negotiation, I think, is before you even have the client, watching for those red flags. I actually met with someone a few weeks ago, and I showed him my prices for a brand new WordPress site. And it wasn't anything, my prices, I think, are competitive. I don't think they're outrageous. And he's like, I understand you gotta pay the bills. And when someone says that, I'm like, yeah, no. And then, there was a that's what she said joke a little bit after that. So
Oh. All right.
I thought about it afterwards and I'm like, I'm not going to pursue you anymore. I'm going to let you, if you want to do a website, reach out to me. But I kind of, I'm not going to pursue anymore
Yeah.
because, yeah, you learn those, what I thought was a yellow flag now is a red flag. I now know is a red flag.
Mm,
And
mhm.
yeah, and so that's what brought up for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, and when you're going into negotiation, and like right now, we're talking about negotiation as it pertains to sales, because that's what we do most.
Yep.
There are a bunch of different types of negotiation, but let's stick along the vein of sales, because it is the most important part of our business. Uh, you do need to remain in control of that journey.
Yep.
And it's very easy to lose control. And this is where having a well-defined sales process is really important.
Yep.
And in having that sales process, it's your job to help them feel the discomfort of their current situation.
Yeah.
They need to understand, don't just define the pain points, dig into what the impact of those pain points are. This is what I've learned from my business coach. And it's been probably the biggest factor in my business growth. Get into those pain points and help them feel the impact. That should be the beginning part of your pain, or your pain process, your sales process, right?
Yeah.
To take the pain out of it. Remain in control. When it's mapped out, that's your journey. You don't deviate from it. Okay. So when they just want your prices, well, no, that's not how I operate. I need to get to know you first, and we need to have a couple discussions. I have this questionnaire I'm going to need you to fill out, and then we'll have a follow-up call about it. That's okay.
Yeah.
And if they don't want to follow your process, how good do you think they're going to be as a client? Right?
Yeah.
They're probably one of the people that you would have sold for $37 an hour
Mhm.
several years ago, you know, but that is important. You need to understand that your sales process helps you find the right people to carry them through.
Yep.
And when it's followed correctly, it doesn't just improve your conversion rate, it helps your retention rate, because now you have amazing clients that hang on for longer and they come back over and over again.
I think on top of that, it's not even just about conversion. Uh, Entrepreneurs, speaking as an entrepreneur, your greatest asset is your energy. Those cheap people are just energy vampires. They're constantly baiting and switching. They're constantly negotiating. When they're nickel and diming you, it's just exhausting. And it's like, you know what? Go do it yourself then. I'm not going to do this for $100 a month. I'm not going to
Mhm.
do it. Depending on what it is.
Yeah.
And I have found that the cheap people, yeah, energy vampires.
Yeah.
And so when I talk to someone, I go into my intuition. How do I feel afterwards? And this is true friendships, women I've met, and I'm like, I feel so drained after talking to her. I'm
Mhm.
not going to pursue a friendship. I'm not going to pursue it. And the same thing with men. I feel very drained with this guy. Done, or at least I'm not going to pursue it. So same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
And it's, you need to actually think of it when someone does not proceed with your sales process, um, and go through your journey the way that you've mapped out. You need to take that as a win too, because you just dodged a bullet, friend.
Yep.
Right? It happens to me. And I'd say more often than not, people convert and they go from start to finish. But every now and then I'll get someone that's like, well, I filled out the questionnaire. We already had a meeting. I don't understand why we need this follow-up call.
Mm.
And I'll explain it, you know, but I don't budge on the follow-up call.
Stand
This
your
is
ground.
necessary. This is an important part of my process. And it's not just beneficial for me, it's beneficial for you, and if they don't continue, well, what kind of client would they have been? So, so just don't be afraid to walk away.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the final piece of
Right.
negotiation.
Yep.
It's okay to walk away because the deal probably would have gone sour at some point.
And if they reject you, rejection is God's protection. I always,
Ooh.
always, always, yeah, or the
Mm.
universe's protection. To feel no one wants to feel rejected, but when you do, take it as a win.
Mhm.
Because what I have found with people who have rejected me, a networking group that mistreated me, it was for the best because it made me stronger and it led me to the right people anyways.
Mhm. I love that. I'm gonna write that down. Rejection is God's protection.
Yep, yep,
That's awesome.
yep.
Yeah, rejection is probably one of the biggest fears that we have in
Of
business.
course. As a
It's the
human
biggest
being.
thing we have to get over, right? That's
Yeah.
the hardest part of sales.
Yep.
If we didn't have that, then everybody would be doing sales.
Mhm.
And it, I like Brian Tracy. He sounds like a grandpa. Like he's just got this really soft voice, and he's fun to listen to, and um he like turns it into a game. How many rejections can I get today? He's a great sales trainer, one of the OGs in the business development world.
Okay.
And it has like really cool systems for just like getting over that fear of rejection. And there's a book called, what is it called? The Art of Negotiation, I think.
I think you've recommended that book before. I don't know if I have it, but I've heard of that book
Yeah,
before.
yeah, I know it's in here somewhere. I read it a while ago, but it was very good, and it's written by a former hostage negotiator.
Oh,
Yeah, isn't
I
that
didn't know that. I didn't know it was
cool?
written by a former. That's interesting. Oh, now I
Yeah,
really want to read it.
yeah, yeah, really cool.
The Art of
Um,
Negotiation, it's called.
yes, and I think I had listened to it.
Um,
Lego books. Let's see. I'm not sure.
How to Improvise Agreement in a Chaotic World.
No, it
No.
Never Split the Difference. That's it. It's
Oh,
called Never
okay.
Split the Difference by Chris Voss.
Okay.
Negotiating as if your life depended on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it's a great read. I
Yeah.
listened to it, and I'll be honest, the speaker's voice was a little creepy, but like, yeah, there's just something very like kind of like the movie trailer, like everything's like,
Oh,
yeah. But other than that, like the content was really rich. And
okay.
that's one that I've listened to that I will definitely open up and read now,
Yeah.
that I've listened to it. Great book, highly recommend if anyone wants to further their knowledge on negotiation. I try to read something each quarter
Yeah.
along the lines of sales or negotiation or something so I can continuously polish my skills.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to get that book myself.
Yeah. Great talk today.
Good talk
Mm.
today. Yes, it
Yeah.
is getting towards the end of 2023 and looking forward to 2024. Um, I think we're going to take a short break after this podcast to finish our year. I know you and I, fourth quarter is crazy.
Yeah. We've
I
got
know.
some big stuff coming up too.
Yes, big stuff. Big stuff going on and coming in. And I want to talk to you about some 2024 things too.
Awesome.
So anyways, we hope everyone has a great holiday season and happy new year. We might be back on before the end of the new year, but yeah, that's it for me today.
Yeah. Yeah, work on that confidence and go out and negotiate.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you, Andrea, for hopping on this morning.
Of course. Thank you.